So we drive in, we pull up to the 19th hole, and the guy greets me and he says, Mike, there's somebody here who wants to meet you. He's a friend of ours, and I got to introduce you to him. Now, you may not know this in this life, people, but if you're a made guy and there's another guy that's a made guy, but you never formally met him as a made guy, you can't just go up to him and say, hey, how you doing? I'm made with the Colombos, so on and so forth. Somebody who knows you both, another made guy, has to introduce you both. And they go, Michael, you know, this is a friend of ours, or Amiga Nostra, so-and-so. And that's how you formally meet. And this way, you know, you can talk, you know, our business together. So I said, well, who is this guy? He says, his name is Mario. He's a captain with the Genovese family. I said, okay. So we went into this Chinese restaurant that was next to the 19th hole. We go into the back room, and I tell Jerry and Vinny, do me a favor, wait for me at the bar. I said, because you guys can't attend this meeting. So we go in the back, and I see this guy sitting there. He was an old-timer, kind of a heavy-set guy. He had one of his guys sitting next to him. And my friend introduces me. He says, Michael, this is Amiga Nostra Mario. He's a captain with the Genovese family. I say, Mario, how you doing? We sit down. I says, Mario, what could I do for you? He looks at me and he says, you got some Jew around you named Jerry Zimmerman? I said, yeah, Jerry's with me. He looks at me, he leans over the table, he smashes down his fist, and he said, I want him dead. Now I'm thinking a minute, it's clicking. Oh, Jerry Zimmerman, Mario, the argument they had in the yard. I'm starting to listen for a minute. I says, Mario, do me a favor. I says, I had a long ride in from Long Island. Let me use the restroom. I'll be right back. So I go out, and I see Jerry at the bar, and I said, Jerry, Mario's in the back, and he's not happy. I said, get out of here right away. Go wait for me down the street. I'll meet you afterwards. I'll tell you why. If they would have known Jerry was out there and Mario wanted him to sit in at the table and I didn't have a chance to school him, if he would have said the wrong thing, I couldn't help him. You could never, ever, ever, you know, give a made guy wrong over the guy that you're sitting with if he wasn't a made guy. So if he would have said something out of the way, I wouldn't have been able to help him. He would have been in trouble. So I made him get out of there so they couldn't put him down at the table. So now I go back and I says, Mario, what's the problem? And he tells me, he says, look, your guy was very, very disrespectful to my brother-in-law. He said, my brother-in-law brought his car in. It wasn't a bad car. He started cursing out my brother-in-law. He cursed me out. He says, and for that, I want him dead. Who is he to do that? Now, I got to tell you something. I got a problem here because this is an old-timer. I was a younger guy. The old-timers kind of resented the younger guys a little bit. I understand that. Figure, you know, we haven't really, been around long enough to be sitting down with them. But those are the rules. We're all on equal ground when we're in that life. So he says to me, and I want him dead. He said, that's it. No negotiation here. I says, Mario, I says, first of all, I got to tell you something. I said, I heard the whole argument. I was up in my office on the second floor. The window was open, and I listened to everything. I said, Jerry never cursed at your brother-in-law, and he never said anything out of the way. Now, I'll be honest with you, people, I had to lie through my teeth. Because if I agreed and I admitted it, Jerry was in trouble because he was disrespectful to his brother-in-law, and he said the wrong words, F you, whatever he said about another made guy. You don't get away with that kind of stuff. So he said, well, listen, my brother-in-law don't lie. He said, he told me this is what happened. I said, well, you calling me a liar, Mario? I heard the whole thing. I don't care what your brother-in-law told you. He's 100% wrong. I said, Jerry never said that. He said, well, I know my brother-in-law's around me 20 years. I said, well, Jerry's around me 20 years. Another lie. But I had a lie. Got to save my guy, right? I can't throw him to the wolves. So we're going back and forth, and this is lasting like 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour. This guy don't want to give in. Finally, he says to me, okay, fine. He says, I'm not going to kill him. I want to put him in a hospital. I says, if you put him in a hospital, I got to put your brother-in-law in a hospital. I said, what are we gaining here? I said, whatever you do to my guy, I got to do to yours. I said, that's how it goes. I said, we're not getting anywhere. Back and forth, back and forth. Finally, I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere with this guy. He was not giving in. So I said, Mario, wait. I says, let me do this. I said, I know you feel a little bit insulted, a little bit slighted in front of your brother-in-law. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give your brother-in-law a new car. New car. It's on me. I'll take the old one back. I said, whatever the difference is in price, I'll give him a new car. How's that? That satisfy you? You'd be happy with that? Tell your brother-in-law you won the argument. You got satisfaction. That's it. Don't worry about it. He looks at me. He says, no, I'm not satisfied. I said, Mario, a new car? I said, look, if we don't resolve this here, there's not going to be a resolution. We're going to take it upstairs. You're going to get your boss, I'll get mine, and we'll sit down. We got to go all the way with this because you're not going to hurt my guy. I said, that's it. So if I were you, I'm making a suggestion. I respect you. I give you all the respect. If my guy said something wrong, I said, I didn't hear it, but believe me, I'll give him a tongue lashing afterwards. I'll make sure you got satisfaction. Tell your brother-in-law you won. You're giving him a brand new car. What are you going to complain about? Finally, we resolve it. He's okay. We get in the car, and believe me, I get to leave, and I give Jerry a tongue lashing. But this guy was so serious this whole time. I said, you know what? I said, if something happens here, Jerry might be walking down the street. They may track this guy. A safe falls on his head. A car hits him out of nowhere. I says, I don't know. I said, Jerry, I'll tell you what you got to do. I said, this guy was very upset and very serious. He's an old timer, one of those guys. I said, you got a brother out in California. You need to go out there for a while. I said, go out, cool off, wait a couple of months. Let me make sure everything is all right here because this was a very, very intense argument.